Greetings, YouTube. Slugfest Wizard back at it again, doing my thing. I'm getting ready to give you guys my predictions and picks for UFC 144 tomorrow night. I'm out of Saitama, Japan, and the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship, returns to Japan for the first time in about 10 years. The last card that was there was, I think, UFC 29. So, it looks it's a stacked event. There are a couple superstars, and I'm really looking forward to it as usual. So, without further ado, let's jump on into the UFC lightweight title fight. The UFC lightweight champion, Frankie "The Answer" Edgar, puts his belt on the line tomorrow against top contender and former WEC champion, Ben Henderson. Bendo. And, what do I think is going to go down in this fight? Alright. If you guys want to talk about someone that people said didn't belong in the UFC, don't talk about Brock Lesnar, talk about Frankie "The Answer" Edgar. The kid from Toms River, New Jersey. Always the underdog, always the winner. That's how it's been for him. That's kind of the motto I've had for him. You know, he wasn't supposed to beat Sean Shirk, he beat Sean Shirk. He wasn't supposed to beat Tyson Griffin, he beat Tyson Griffin. He choked out Matt Veek, then he was supposed to get smashed against BJ Penn, and he went in to beat BJ Penn, the most successful lightweight in the history of the UFC, twice, by decision 2 times, and then he wasn't supposed to defeat Gray Maynard, and then he had a draw with Gray Maynard, and then knocked him out the 3rd time they fought. Now that he's finally done with Gray Maynard, he's getting ready to move on to greener pastures, and he's fighting one of the biggest threats that he will ever face tomorrow night in the form of Ben Henderson. What can you say about Ben Henderson other than, you know, this fight, it's tough. It's a really tough one. Ben Henderson he really did impress me with his victory over Jim Miller in, you know, I picked Jim Miller to win that one, but he clobbered him for 3 rounds. He beat Mark Bocek also, and he had a really solid win over Clay Guida. So he's 3-0 in the UFC. You know, with his only loss in the past in a long time being to the Showtime kick of Anthony Pettis. And back in 2007, March 31st, at BattleQuest 5 Avalanche, he had a technical submission loss to a guy named Rocky Johnson, who doesn't even have his own Wikipedia page. So, there you go. Ben Henderson is known for his ability to escape deep submission attempts. So, if you like, the 2 fighters in mixed martial arts that I think are just impossible to submit, number 1, John Fitch. Number 2, Ben Henderson. Actually, you know what? Ben Henderson might be number 1, but it's just when you think he's going to tap, he finds a way to get out, and I don't know if he has a neck of rubber or what, but he puts up an intense pace. Very fast, strong, great conditioning, a solid chin. He's never been knocked out. Frankie Edgar has also never been finished. So in this contest, you're going to see 2 top of the food chain, high-level lightweights going head-to-head in a bout that will more than likely win Fight of the Night. It could be a candidate for Fight of the Year, as far as I'm concerned. 2 guys that love to fight, that love to get in there and scrap, and that are always going to bring it, and they're always going to push the pace, never slow down, never lose cardio, never gas out, and all that stuff. So, Frankie Edgar, he definitely has the better boxing, I think, and maybe the better overall stand-up game, because he puts together faster combinations, and he's showing he's developing power. He's got better head movement, and he uses his size and his speed to his advantage. And, Ben Henderson, even though his striking is nice-looking, it's very looping, and it's powerful, it's not like he's knocking people out. But, again, Frankie Edgar's not knocking people out other than Gray Maynard, and he knocked out Mark Bocek, too. And he came close to knocking out Matt Veek. He just choked him out in the end. But, yeah, I don't see really there being a finish in this fight. This is all going to be a contest of who can outwork the other one. And in all honesty, I was going to pick Ben Henderson originally when I heard this matchup, because this isn't like fighting BJ Penn, who's not very motivated, or like fighting Gray Maynard, who goes in there with a shaky game plan. This is fighting a completely different animal altogether for Frankie Edgar, but I've changed my mind and I'm actually going to pick Frankie Edgar to get the win in this fight, because as good as Ben Henderson is, Frankie Edgar, he's just got so much resolve, so much will, that I think that he's going to be able to take and dig deep in the face of anything that Ben Henderson will throw at him. I think Frankie Edgar will lose the first round, and he might also lose the second round, but after that, I see him sticking and moving, staying on the outside, getting the points, jumping in there, nailing Ben Henderson when the opportunities arrive, and I see him taking over the fight the longer it goes, and I think by the time this hits the end of the 5th round, Frankie Edgar will retain his UFC lightweight belt via a unanimous decision and defeat Ben Henderson, and meaning he will have defended his UFC lightweight belt 3 times. And keeping that belt in New Jersey, so there I go. This is a really tough fight. Ben Henderson could very well win it, but I think Frankie Edgar's going to do it, so good luck, man. That's it. That's all I got to say about that. Next fight. Quentin Rampage Jackson versus Ryan Bader. I'll get back to that in a minute.